Hi, Popcorn Recap here. Today, we'll discuss the 2017 drama movie, Mudbound. Before we start, be sure to like the video, drop a comment, and of course, subscribe to the channel if you dig the summary to support the channel. Brothers Jamie and Henry are digging while the threat of a storm looms over them. Suddenly, Henry discovers it's a slave's grave and hesitates to bury their father there. However, Jamie convinces him otherwise. Jamie almost dies in a hole as a storm rages, but Henry saves him in time. The following day, Laura tags along with the two brothers as they attempt to lower the coffin to the ground. Hap and his family pass by, so Henry asks for his help. Laura remembers meeting Henry in 1939. In the past, at dinner time, Laura's mother asks her to play the piano for Henry, so Laura hesitantly obliges. Shortly after, the two become a couple, partly due to Laura's inexperience. As the relationship progresses, Henry introduces Laura to his brother, Jamie. The trio attends a party and Jamie dances with Laura. Laura remembers feeling visible whenever Jamie looks at her. Meanwhile, Henry stares at them from his seat. When they finish dancing, Henry tells Laura that Jamie has a certain effect on girls. Laura looks at Jamie as he dances with a different girl at the party. Eventually, Henry and Laura marry and have Amanda. Everything is good until the events of Pearl Harbor disrupt their sparkling domestic life. Meanwhile, Ronsel tearfully says goodbye to his family as he leaves for war. Florence doesn't look at her son as he rides away, believing it's bad luck to look at somebody leaving. She prays religiously for Ronsel while he is gone. Meanwhile, Hap questions the point of the backbreaking work his ancestors had to do for the land they'd never own. Henry tells Laura he bought a farm in Mississippi and they will move there in 3 weeks to take care of his father. Laura doesn't like the idea, but Henry asserts she'd loved it. Moving out day comes and the family arrives at a beautiful new home. However, Henry discovers he'd been swindled as Oris is already a tenant in the house. Henry's father scolds him for being a fool, so Henry insists on staying at their nearby farm close to another family. Hap remembers his uncle who owned land once but was killed. He continues to question the point of everything. He tries to trace when he started wanting a better life. At a dinner table, Hap's daughter Lily talks about becoming a stenographer while Ruel argues with her. Suddenly, someone knocks on the door loudly. Hap opens the door and greets Henry. He asks for Hap's help to unload the things from their car. However, Hap needs to ride a car with Henry and Pappy to get there. Although adamantly hesitant at first, the racist Pappy obliges. Finally, after a tension-filled drive, Hap and Henry unload the things into a worn-out shed. Inside the house, Laura accidentally trips over some books. Hap sees this and begins reading one of the titles. Laura asks if he can read, so Hap tells her Ronsel, his son, serving in the military, taught him. Pappy doesn't believe this because Jamie is serving as well. Still, Hap tells him Ronsel is serving as a tank commander in the Black Panthers, a military group primarily consisting of African Americans. Pappy insults Hap. Later, Laura and Pappy argue about removing the piano. However, Laura talks to Henry privately and insists they keep the piano because it's the only civilized thing in the house. Pappy is forced to sleep in another room. The following day, Henry watches the cotton workers while reminiscing about the land his great-grandfather used to own. It was supposed to become his, but Pappy sold it due to a flood. On the other side of the world, Jamie is a bomber pilot and Ronsel writes to his family in the village of Tillet. Later, Henry gets into an argument with Carl and fires him. Vera comes over to talk to Laura and pleads with her to keep them. Meanwhile, Ronsel realizes the civilian Germans aren't racist. He falls in love with a German girl. Henry and the family continue to live in poverty. Henry drives out in the heavy rain to fetch a doctor when his daughter gets sick. Ronsel's letters arrive and Hap reads them to his family. Suddenly, Henry knocks loudly on the door and asks for Florence's help in exchange for payment. Meanwhile, Jamie is in a dogfight and his co-pilot and gunner get killed. Laura's daughters eventually get better, so Henry and Laura offer Florence a job in the house. However, Florence is hesitant because of the racist Pappy. At night, Hap tries to convince Florence out of taking the job, but she already says yes. Eventually, Florence convinces him. The following day, Hap falls and breaks his foot while helping to build a church for the local colored community. Meanwhile, Ronsel struggles at war. Hap struggles to see Florence do all the work for the family. Henry arrives and because of the farm's delay, he forces Hap to rent out their mule in exchange for half of the crop's payment. When Henry leaves, Hap struggles to even stand up. Meanwhile, Jamie becomes an alcoholic due to his PTSD. Henry and Laura argue about Florence not returning for a while because of Hap's injury. In response, Laura sneakily pays for Hap's treatment using Henry's money. Florence is filled with gratitude, but Henry is dismayed. He begins to ignore Laura, worsening their already rocky relationship. Eventually, the war ends. Jamie comes home and greets everyone. In the evening, Pappy probes Jamie's silver star. However, Jamie doesn't want to talk about it, so Pappy belittles Jamie for not looking in the eyes of those who killed. Ronsel comes home. After getting accustomed to the lack of racism in Germany, he struggles to acclimate in the still racist Mississippi. He stops in a store and bumps into Laura, who introduces herself politely. However, as he's about to head out, he bumps into Pappy, who tells him to exit the store through the back door. Henry arrives and tries to de-escalate the situation. Still, Ronsel fires back, saying he and his men were fighting Hitler while Pappy and the rest were sitting at home. This left Pappy speechless. While the family is praying, Ronsel arrives to finish the prayer at night. They become emotional in welcoming the war hero. Later, Ronsel tells them he plans to stay so he can put the war behind him. Henry arrives and tells Hap and Florence what happened back at the store. Hap convinces Ronsel to apologize, so he hesitantly obliges. The following day, while exiting the store, Jamie hears a loud bang and he immediately drops to the ground. Ronsel arrives to help him up, but Jamie ignores him. However, Jamie also sees Ronsel's hand shaking from the loud noise, realizing that they both just came from the war. Despite the onlookers, Jamie offers Ronsel a ride back home. Ronsel hops in the back of Jamie's truck, but Jamie insists that he sit at the front by giving him a direct order. Ronsel obliges, realizing that Jamie outranks him. The two converse about their experiences during the war and finally coming home. The two share a drink for the comrades who never returned. The two arrive at Ronsel's house and Hap immediately gets alarmed, seeing his son with Jamie. However, Jamie assures him everything's fine. He's just giving Ronsel a lift. Laura realizes she's pregnant and shares it with Henry, who quickly becomes overjoyed. Meanwhile, Ronsel gives Florence a chocolate bar. Although she's hesitant to accept it, Ronsel insists on watching her enjoy herself for a bit. Meanwhile, Laura hears Jamie drunkenly mumbling on the front porch in the dark. Laura comes over to comfort him, holding him in her arms. Henry sees this. Coming to his senses, Jamie runs off and drives away. Later, Laura is left alone with her daughters because Henry and Pappy left for a trip. Suddenly, a pregnant Vera approaches Laura with a knife. Vera asks Laura to take her to town to see Carl because he's cheating. Laura explains she can't drive Vera because Henry took the keys away. Vera cries in despair and leaves. Eventually, Carl is found dead on the side of the road and Vera is seen by Florence walking away covered in blood. Suddenly, Laura gets into labor. She asks her daughter to run and fetch Florence. However, Laura loses the child. Florence tries to comfort her as she's lost a child too. Laura cries in despair. The following day, Jamie and Ronsel arrive at Ronsel's old shed. Ronsel asks why Jamie is kind to him, so Jamie explains he thinks Ronsel could use it. However, Ronsel doesn't believe him and tells him off. After a few seconds of silence, Jamie recalls flying over Austria and going to a fight with Messerschmitts, the German fighter planes. When his co-pilot and gunner got killed in a battle, Jamie swore to do something good in his life. Suddenly, friendly fighter planes arrived and saved him. Jamie remembers seeing the red painted tails of the P-51s. In his shock, he saw the pilot was colored. The colored pilot saluted and Jamie returned the greeting. Since then, Jamie has been a different man. Ronsel stands beside Jamie, looks at him with a mixture of sympathy and understanding, and offers him a drink. Jamie obliges. When Henry arrives, Laura is still dazed. She tries to recover by playing the piano. Later, Jamie builds a shower for them. Laura is filled with gratitude. She uses the shower later. Meanwhile, Florence watches Ronsel, who barely eats and sleeps because he's waiting for something. Suddenly, Jamie arrives and fetches Ronsel. Although Jamie is not racist, Florence can't help but worry for his son. At night, Hap comforts Florence. He takes Florence and dances with her. Meanwhile, Ronsel is impressed at Jamie for earning a silver star. Jamie tells Ronsel that sometimes he misses the war. Ronsel feels the same. During the war, people treated him as a liberator, whereas he was simply another cotton worker there. The two laugh about seeing the girls from different parts of the world. Jamie probes Ronsel if he's ever been with a Caucasian girl, so Ronsel opens up to him. Despite the segregation in the army, the European girls didn't have a problem with a colored man, according to Ronsel. Jamie uncovers that Ronsel had a German girlfriend. However, he thinks he'll never see her again. At night, Jamie drives home and suddenly he gets flashbacks of the war. He begins to fall asleep and crashes the vehicle. He gets woken up by a policeman with Henry. Jamie apologizes to Henry and he just nods at his broken brother. The following day, Hap scolds Ronsel for waking up late. Suddenly, Ronsel receives a letter from Germany. Ronsel runs out in a hurry. Meanwhile, a drunk Jamie accidentally spills a bucket of milk, angering Henry. The two get into a heated argument, so eventually Henry gives up on his brother. Henry gives him an ultimatum to leave after he comes back from Greenville. In a storm, Ronsel gets chased by a truck. After narrowly hitting him, Jamie laughs at his angered friend. Ronsel enters the truck and Jamie is still hysterical. Eventually, Ronsel shares that he was a child with a German girl. Jamie congratulates him. The two drive away as they sing to the radio. Suddenly, Pappy passes by in a car and sees Jamie with Ronsel. Jamie drops off Ronsel and tells him he's leaving town soon. Jamie tells Ronsel that he's been a friend to him, so Ronsel reciprocates this. The two shake hands. Jamie arrives home and immediately, Pappy confronts him. Laura intervenes and asks Pappy to go. In response, Pappy tells Laura that he knows she has romantic feelings for Jamie. Pappy leaves. When Ronsel gets home, he loses the letter. Meanwhile, Jamie packs his stuff and tells an unwitting Laura that Henry asked him to leave. Laura tries to stop him, but Jamie insists he can't stay. She kisses him and they make love. In the evening, Ronsel is out in the rain looking for the missing letter. Suddenly, Pappy and members of the KKK beat Ronsel and take him away. Pappy wakes up Jamie. Jamie sees that members of the KKK surround them and Ronsel is beaten up. Pappy shows the members the pictures of Ronsel's child with the German girl. Jamie knocks a member and steals the gun. He points it at Pappy. However, Jamie hesitates and the members of the KKK steal the gun from him. Pappy asks Jamie to choose Ronsel's punishment if he doesn't want Ronsel to die. Jamie chooses his friend's tongue to be removed instead. They leave Ronsel injured for his family to see. The following day, Florence nurses Ronsel while she cries. Hap attends the church, but he just stands there quietly. The next day, Laura tries to wake Pappy from the shed. In a corner, she sees Jamie. He explains what happened. In the evening of Ronsel's beating, Jamie looked at Pappy and smothered him with a pillow. Laura is shocked to hear this. Eventually, Henry arrives and Laura tells him that Pappy died peacefully in his sleep. The two brothers bring his coffin to the grave. Hap passes by and Henry asks for his help despite Laura's warning. Although hesitant, Hap helps him. He says a prayer for Pappy. Jamie looks at Laura before he walks over to Hap's family. Jamie gives the German girl's letter to Florence, telling her to give it to Ronsel if they see him. Jamie looks at Henry before leaving. Henry calls, but Jamie ignores him as he continues to walk away. Jamie hopes that Pappy's death will bring Ronsel's family peace, even though it brings him none. He hopes Ronsel finds happiness. Ronsel and his family move away and become happier. Jamie moves to the city. Finally, Ronsel is reunited with his German girlfriend. As the girl opens the door, Ronsel sees Franz, his son. In tears, Ronsel carries his son.